In a previous video, we designed 4-bit adder using the hierarchical design. Now in this video, we will see how we can design the same circuit using the data flow modeling. And if we'll compare the two approaches, we'll see how powerful the data flow modeling is. So say we have to again add 4 bits of data along with the external C input, how we can design it using the data flow modeling. So if we are designing a 4-bit adder along with the C in, the output will be the 5-bit data. So this is how the design module using the data flow modeling would look like. We are starting with the keyword module, then the name of the module, then Y is the output port, A, B, C in are the inputs to the 4-bit adder. Since we are designing the 4-bit adder, output will be the 5-bit data. So we are declaring Y to be a vector, 5-bit vector, and it is the output port. A and B are the 4 bits, and these are the input. Cin is also the input port. So in order to design the 4-bit adder in the data flow modeling, we have to simply make use of this statement. And in this statement, we see that we are using the plus operator. So we see that not much of the coding is needed if we are describing the 4-bit adder using the data flow modeling approach. So this is how you can write down the design module for the 4-bit adder. Now say if you wish to write down the data flow description for the 6-bit adder, then you have to make only small changes in this code. Since you have to add 6 bits of data, then A and B will become a vector of size 6. So here you have to modify it. 3 will be changed to 5. And when you will be adding 6 bits of data, the output will be 7-bit data. So here also you have to make the change in the Y. Y will be declared as a 7-bit vector. And for that you have to change this 4 to 6. So by making minor changes in this, you can convert this 4-bit adder to the 6-bit adder or to any size of. Once we have designed this module to test it or to simulate it, we have to write down the test bench or stimulus. So this is how the stimulus looks like. So the things are again quite similar. The only difference is here in this monitor command. This is something new, and I would like to explain this monitor command over here. Here we see that we are using the new symbols, %B symbols. So I would like to explain this particular command over here. Whenever you wish to display the values in the formatted output, we make use of this kind of a syntax. So let us try to understand this syntax. So we are trying to understand the syntax for display, write, or the monitor command. These three are the system tasks which are used to display the values of the variables. There's a slight difference between the display and the write. Write is quite similar to the display except that it doesn't go to the next line after the value of the variables are displayed. But most commonly we make use of the display or we make use of the monitor. And we have already discussed the difference between the display and the monitor command, and we know that monitor command is very powerful in comparison to the display because we have to make use of the monitor command just once and it keeps on monitoring the changes in the values of the variables. If any of the variable changes, then monitor commands come into picture and it displays the values of all the variables. Now let us discuss the syntax for the formatted output command. So this is the syntax. We have to start with the task name. Task name may be either the display or the write, or it may be monitor. Then comes the format specification. Then we have to give the comma, and then finally we have to give the argument list. Now let us try to understand this syntax with the help of the example. So say task name is monitor. As I told you, it can be either monitor or display, or it can be write also. So it can be either of these three task names. Then comes the format specification. In the format specification, we see that we are using the quotes, we are using the percentage symbol along with the B symbol. And then finally comes the argument list. In the argument list, basically we have to give the names of the variables which have to be displayed. Now in the format specification, we are using the special symbol percentage, and this percentage symbol is used to specify the base of the numbers that have to be displayed. And this base can be either the binary. So if the number has to be displayed in binary, we make use of the symbol small b or the capital B, or this base can be decimal. If it is decimal, Then we make use of this percentage D or percentage capital D. For hex, we use the symbol small h or capital H, and for octal, we use the symbol small o or the capital O. So depending upon in what particular format you wish to display the values, then we use either of these symbols. So the format specification has to be always enclosed within the quotes. This is the first thing which you have to remember. Then after percentage, you can use either of these symbols depending upon in which format you wish to display your values. Then within the format specification, you see that we don't have to use any commas over here. Then format specification and the argument list has to be separated by the comma. And lastly, in the argument list, all the variable names must be separated with commas. So these are the few rules which you have to remember whenever you make use of the formatted output. So this is what we have used over here. We are using monitor, then we are including this within the quotes, percentage B, 4 times. Why 4 times? Because here we have given 4 variables. If you give 5 variables over here, you'll have to use this percentage symbol 5 times. Now, since we are interested only in the binary values, that is why we are using the percentage B symbol. Suppose if you wish to display the value of A not in the binary form, but if you are interested in the decimal form, then you have to simply change this B with a D. If you are interested in the hexadecimal value of A, then this B will be replaced with a H. If you are interested in the octal value of A, then this B will be replaced with a O. So this particular statement is very handy whenever you are interested in displaying the values of the variables in a particular format. Now let us execute this program using the online compiler and see how it works. So this is the design module for the 4-bit adder, which we have just discussed. This is the test bench. And if we execute it, this is the output which we are getting. So we have tested this for 2 sets of data. If A is this, B is this, and C is 0, this is the output. If we simply change C to 1, the output becomes this. And for this data, we are getting this output. So this is how 4-bit adder can be designed using data flow modeling. Now suppose if you are interested in say 6-bit adder, then we have to change this to 6 bits. So this we have to change to 6-bit vector, and this we have to change it to 7-bit vector. And similarly, we have to make a change over here. And then we have to change this to 6-bit of data. Since we have to give the 6 bits, so we have to change 4 to 6, and then we have to make a change here. So we are giving 6 bits over here. Similarly, I have to make change here. So I change it to 0, 0, 6 bits, 0, 0. So let us execute it and see what kind of result we get. So we see that the input bits are 6 bits. These 6 bits will be added to this, and this would be the result. Here C has been changed to 1. The output becomes this, and for this data, again we are getting the correct result. So we see that by making a small change in the program, we can design the adder of any size if we are using the data flow modeling approach. And by looking at this example, we can be now sure that how powerful this data flow modeling